Welcome to Advocate Today. I'm Aaron Dean. The law that allows children of undocumented immigrants to stay in the U.S. for an extended period is in danger of being repealed. A federal judge in Texas has ruled that a revision to DACA unlawful. The Biden administration attempted to codify the Obama-era policy, but several states sued. The judge says that DACA violates the Administrative Procedure Act. The order doesn't impact current beneficiaries of the program, but it does prevent the government from accepting any new applications. And it also leaves the program intact for legal review. The ruling is expected to be appealed to the Supreme Court. The U.S.-Mexico border is now the deadliest land route for migrants anywhere in the world. That's according to the International Organization for Migration. The IOM recorded 686 deaths and disappearances along the border in 2022. That's half of the nearly 1,500 migrant deaths and disappearances recorded throughout the Americas last year. 2022 was the deadliest year on record since the group started tracking in 2014. The main cause of death vary from drowning to accidents to extreme environmental conditions and lack of supplies. A federal appeals court is blocking a California law that prohibits the marketing of firearms to children. The law was quickly challenged by pro-gun organizations when the governor signed the bill into law last July. The groups argued the law violated gun manufacturers' freedom of speech. Some of the groups included Youth Target Shooting Class. The panel ruled that the law would likely violate the plaintiffs' free speech rights. They said that minors can use guns under supervision and therefore cannot justify a ban on gun marketing to minors. Democrats on Capitol Hill want to force a vote on gun reform. It's called the Gun Violence Prevention Act, and it would establish a new office on gun violence prevention within the U.S. Department of Justice. Part of that bill would call for national standards on gun storage. Representative Hakeem Jeffries says that it's time to bring a sense of urgency to the issue.
We are going to continue as House Democrats, joined by the advocate community, to confront the gun violence epidemic with the fierce urgency of now. Extreme MAGA Republicans, unfortunately, continue to bury their heads in the sand as children and young people and everyday Americans succumb to the gun violence epidemic in this great country.
The bill faces an uphill climb in the Republican-led chamber. Small to medium-sized businesses are the backbone of the U.S. economy. LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs are a growing sector of the economic engine, but there are benefits and even some challenges for queer business owners. The co-founder and president of Hello Alice says that LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs are doing well. And recently Hello Alice surveyed LGBTQ plus business owners to find out some of the opportunities and challenges that they face in the community. What were some of those key findings that you all saw in that report?
Yeah, so we were very proud to partner with both Start Out and the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber, NGLCC, on what we felt like is a critical data set to understand both the challenges and the opportunities with this really important community. I will say, like all business owners, access to capital, which doesn't surprise me, continues to be top of mind for all business owners, and in particular, our LGBTQ plus community. That is really a national focus right now for us. I will say there is a heightened sense of concern with our LGBTQ plus founders who are walking into a bank or maybe a corporate partner as their open selves and their true selves, on will they be accepted, will that impact their application. So it's certainly something that is top of mind for us. The second is hiring, ensuring the ability, particularly in, I would say, states that aren't as open, to the ability to hire great employees in your business is another area of concern. I think areas of opportunity, I just said that healthcare, for example, is a massive opportunity right now in the small business place. Our LGBTQ plus community tends to over-index in the healthcare community, also in central services, and in hospitality and food and bev, which is really on the comeback. So I'd say there's a lot of optimism right there from an industry standpoint.
And you kind of mentioned it a little bit when it comes to some of the challenges that these LGBTQ plus business owners are facing. But when we
Mhm.
look at states that may be, having a lot of legislation come down that are very anti-LGBTQ,
Yeah.
how does that impact the queer business owner?
Sure. So if you think about me as a straight white female, I have these fears and concerns of just getting my cash flow and getting my business funded, and will I be turned down? I think for someone who is in an environment where they have this extra layer of challenge, where if they're sitting across from someone who either isn't as open, or the pressures of laws around them that are frankly ridiculous, that they're trying to, even if they are supportive of this individual, is this law supportive of this individual? So it is another complexity of business, that running a business is already hard, but you layer that in, and you're looking at another layer of difficulty. And so, our job, both at Hello Alice and with our partners, is equitable access to capital, really understanding how industry impacts, but when you layer in society as a whole nother ball of wax that we all have to really understand, be allies for, and support.
And for businesses who are out there struggling to raise capital in general, what are some of the solutions that they can approach to meet their goals?
So my number one piece of advice right now, particularly coming out of the pandemic, is to really diversify your cash flow. Long gone are the days where you can have 6 weeks of cash in the bank and be fine. Between natural disasters, pandemics, law changes, it's important to have more cash in the bank. The number one place you can do that actually is not going and getting new capital, but where is the capital you have? Really scrutinize your costs. Is everything you're spending money on right now important? Down to those $25 a month subscriptions, all the way up to your rent. Have you renegotiated your rent in a while? So where is the money that you have that you can save? The second area is really understanding and going after operational credit. So credit can be very good or very bad in your business. Good credit, where you can actually earn cash back on your spend, where you're very much tracking data and how you spend and getting discounts based on that. I'm a big fan of operational credit. Finally, if it is appropriate to get a loan, there are different loans to really think about. You have a traditional small business loan, whether it's with the SBA or a local community bank, which I'm a huge fan of local banks. Or are you looking at a line of credit, which is your ability to tap into money if you need it, and pay it back quickly, but you're not paying interest on that. So really understand and diversify your cash flow, whether that's the money you already have, the money you're going after, and then the best source of money in the world are your clients and your customers, right? So always pay attention to them first. How can you increase sales, increase marketing? But those are all the things that you need to do. And if I can have one more minute.
So how can queer business owners, stay nimble in adapting and acquiring new skills?
I actually love the most peer-to-peer networks. I think there's no better person to learn from than another small business owner. So whether you look at joining a local chapter of NGLCC, or you start out, or stepping out of the queer community and just looking at your local chamber, on Hello Alice, you can search for like-minded business owners and exchange information. But I call it the 6 months plus. Someone who's gone through something 6 months before you, I think, are the best people to learn from. The other thing is, I've really been impressed with the amount of online courses, online guides that you can get. And again, for a small business owner, you're probably doing that at night, or before the shop opens on a Saturday morning, or maybe the day you're closed on a Sunday, or for parents, you're doing it when your kids are asleep. But Hello Alice has a ton of that resources. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce does, Coursera. 99% of the time that stuff is free. So advancing your skill set, again, particularly not on the business, but in the business. So basic accounting, basic business planning, all of that is the non-sexy, not super fun part what you're doing, because again, you've got to be serving your customer designing, but it's really, really important.
Thanks for watching Advocate today. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to stream us live, and you can even subscribe on our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Aaron Dean.